welcome back. So remember we were doing the cosine rule and we were using it to find angles of a triangle, specifically a non-right angle triangle. Now we're going to continue and we're going to look at some applications of the cosine rule in real life. Let's go to our first example. Okay, so this question states that we have a soccer player. Let me just pull up my pen quickly. We have a soccer player and he's standing 10 meters away from the first goal post. So that's this distance here. And 14 meters away from the second goal post, that distance there. And they want to know, they tell us the net is also 7,3 meters wide, so they give us this distance as well. And they want us to calculate the angle Q through which the goal can be made. And they want it correct to 2 decimal places like we've been doing all the time. Okay, so let's look at the information we have again. What are we given? We given 1, 2, 3 sides. So we're given side, side, side. And because we're given side, 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 it means we can definitely apply the cos rule. Okay. Now, which version of the cos rule are we going to use again? Let's look at what they're asking us. They're asking us for angle Q. Because they want us to find angle Q, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for angle Q. We're going to use the version of the cos rule that starts off with, you got it, little q. So what does that version of the cos rule look like? Okay, so that version of the cos rule will be what? It will be q squared. Okay, we're starting with q squared. And remember, what's our triangle? The triangle we're working with is triangle PQR. So because we're starting with q squared, we got to use the other 2 sides. So let's write out our equation. Q squared will equal to, there's our other side, p squared plus r squared minus 2 times p times r times the cos of the angle across from that. And because we started off with q, we're going to end up with q. Okay, so we're going to use this version of the formula to find our angle q, and that's the angle that we're going to look for. Right, so that's what we're starting off with. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to rearrange this quickly. Again, why are we going to rearrange it? We want to put q only on the one side. We want only cos q on the left-hand side. So we're going to start off and we're going to move this 2pr onto this side, and remember this q will go onto the other side, and because it goes onto the other side, it gets a negative value. Our next step is to isolate this q, and we've got to isolate that piece. So we're going to divide whatever we had on this side, which is our new numerator, and we're going to divide it by this piece that was left over here, which was 2pr. Okay, now we've got a statement that allows us to work out angle q given the 3 sides PR and Q. Okay, so let's substitute those in and see what we end up with. So let's substitute, let me get a brighter pen. Okay, so remember again in our triangle, that's our little p. The side across from that is little r, and the side across from Q is that one. So we're going to substitute those in. P squared is 14, so it's 14 squared plus r squared is 10 squared minus our q value, and our q was 7.3 squared, and divided by 2 times 14, which is our p, and times our r value, which was 10. Okay, we're going to put this into our calculator quickly, and let's see what value that gives us. Okay, so it's 14 squared plus 10 squared minus 7.3 squared. And that answer, we need to divide it by 2 times 14 times 10. And we've got an answer of 0,8686. Okay, and that's the value for cos q. Remember again, because we're finding q, we now have to take the second function cos of this answer here. So let's do that quickly. So it will be shift cos, and we want the second function of our last answer. And so we have an answer of 29,9086. Again, remember we are rounding off to 2 decimal places, so 908 will become 91. So our value for our angle will be 29,91. Okay, which means the angle at which he can score the goal, through which he can score the goal, this angle here is 29,91 degrees. Okay, now we have the same diagram, but now we've changed the question slightly. Now they want us to calculate angle P. We're assuming we haven't actually calculated Q yet. So how do we calculate P given just the information in the diagram as it is now? So now the angle we're looking for is this angle, okay? So we're looking for angle P. And again, remember that's P, that's little q, and that's r. So because we're looking to find angle P, we need to start off with the version that has P squared in it, okay? And remember our triangle again is PQR, so which version of the formula are we going to use? We're going to say P squared is equal to Q squared plus R squared minus 2QR cos, remember we started off with P, so we're going to end up with, sorry I'm going over the other writing, so we've got to end up with cos P on that side. Okay, now we're going to go in, you can, at this point you can decide, either you can substitute in right away or you can decide to move things around. I'm going to move things around first and then substitute. So first I'm going to bring this onto this side, so it becomes 2QR. On this side I'm going to have Q squared plus R squared minus P squared, because that comes onto this side. And then obviously I've got to just divide by whatever is left over on that side, which is this 2QR. Okay, so now we have a formula for cos P that will help us to find our angle P. Okay, so we're going to substitute in, and we're going to end up with 7,3 squared plus 10 squared minus 14 squared, and all of this 2 times 7.3 times 10. Okay, let's go find a neater version of that. Okay, and there's a neater version of it. Now remember again, we've got to put this whole piece into the calculator and use our cos function, second function cos, to find the angle. So let's do that on our calculator quickly. Okay, so we're going to press shift cos, use our fraction, 7.3 squared plus 10 squared minus 14 squared. At the bottom, 2 times 7.3 times 10, close the bracket, and we have an answer of 107,0097387. Remember again, we've got to round off to 2 decimal places. So once we've done that, we've got to round off this answer. So our answer for P will actually be 107,01 degrees. Okay, so we've reached almost the end of our lesson for cosine, for our cos rule. Let's quickly do a recap on what we've learned today. Okay, so what is the cosine rule? The cosine rule has three versions for any triangle ABC. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. B squared equals to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cos B. And the third one is C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. Okay, and when do we use the cosine rule? When we have our V pattern, when we have a side, an angle, and a side. When we're given a side, an angle, and an included side. Okay, we can also use the cosine rule when we have three sides. All we do then is we just manipulate the formula a little bit in order to find the angle that we want. So if we're finding A, then this is the version that we'll use. If we need to find angle B, then that's the version that we use. And if we need to find angle C, then this is the version that we're going to use. Okay, so I hope that answered your questions about how we use cosine rule to find lengths of sides or angles in non-right angle triangles. Okay, so I hope I'll see you the next time. It will be a much more interesting lesson. We will be focusing on how we use all three rules combined together to solve different problems that we have. Till then, bye.